Hi there, I'm Sam Sorbo for the Accidental Homeschooler. Debate recap today. I am so excited about what is happening in our debate club. So last week we had kind of an impromptu debate, not a formal debate, about the Electoral College. And I had a couple of kids show up prepared, and then I had a couple of kids who just weren't prepared. And so we held a sort of a quick debate, and it was basically 3 minutes each side, and we sort of went around. And what I realized is the kids really didn't understand the Electoral College, but they got into the debating of it, and they really enjoyed it. And at one point, one of the kids said, "We should do this as a team policy. Like, let's take this more seriously than we are." And boy, when the kids start leading, that's when you know that you're doing something right. So I was like, really, you want to do it as a team policy? And then what happened was the two gals in the group who never do anything because they're too shy, the one of them volunteered. She said, "Well, I'll take the negative," because I had two boys who wanted to do affirmative, and these are my tough debaters. They're really into sticking it to the other team and trying to get the win, which is what I'm teaching them to do, because kids like to win. Well, we all like to win, and there's no denying that. So we might as well utilize it. One of the gals in the class who's 15 or 16, she volunteered, and the boys were going to take the affirmative that the Electoral College. They said, sorry, they said they wanted the negative. So we call negative. Okay, fine. And by the way, they are two brothers who are kind of antagonistic toward each other, at least in debate. Like they're always trying to one up each other, sort of. So that they wanted to team together was kind of exciting. And then this young woman in the back said, "Well, I guess I'll do affirmative." And I said, "Okay, who's going to be your partner? I don't waste any time. Let's get this nailed down." And a gal who's a year younger a year older, sorry, in another class that I had actually gone in and watched their debate, and it was inexperienced debaters. It was her first debate ever. And so I have to say she performed admirably, although she didn't quite sort of understand how it all works, because you can't, when you're first getting into it, you don't understand it. You have to do it. You have to do it again. You have to do it again and go, oh, and then these little epiphanies, these little light bulbs turn on in the head. She actually volunteered. She hated it. And she actually volunteered. She said, and I quote, "Well, I guess I'll do it because you're going to pick me anyway," which is so not true. I was not even looking at her. There are other kids in the class who want to debate. I never would have singled her out, but she volunteered. I'm like, okay, we got two teams. Let's go. And so they came back this week, much better prepared to debate the merits of the Electoral College. And it was fantastic. I get emotional because I'm so proud of these kids. First of all, this is extracurricular. This has nothing to do with their schooling. They are choosing to do this, and they are working until late into the evening and sometimes into the morning hours to prepare their debates so that they're ready to go. And they came in ready to play. And so we had just a really robust debate. It was amazing. It was amazing. The one thing that didn't come out in the debate, and I said this to them, I said, nobody brought up how many votes an Electoral College vote counts for, and the comparison between the different states. But one of the kids said, my mom actually taught my younger brothers and sisters all about the Electoral College in like 5 minutes. It is not complicated. We just have to teach people what it means, because the other side that wanted to abolish it, one of their points was it's dumb and nobody even understands it. So let's just get rid of it. So good. So good. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's my debate recap. I did have a young man come in and give a speech on politics, and that was amazing, because this young man is so young and he is very vulnerable. There's something that's just intrinsically vulnerable about him. And I talked to his mother afterwards, because, he just put his speech out there and he got some strong criticism, and some of it from me, because I don't pull punches. And part of my problem is that I expect kids to step up to the bar. And so when you're in speech and debate in the STOA Club, and if you want, you can go to stoausa.org to see what they're all about, and I highly recommend them. But they're not very active in this area where I am now. But one of the things that they do is they have these fantastic, huge tournaments with 200-300 kids. Okay. And the tournaments age ranges from 12 to 18 to graduation. There's no break for the 12-year-olds. They get graded, they get judged in their events on the exact same framework as the older kids do. So if you start as a 12-year-old, you don't really have any hopes. In fact, this is what they told us. You don't really hope to get your check marks to go to nationals, because you're just not going to be that good compared to your competition, who in theory, 15, 16, 17, 18, they've been doing it for 4 or 5, 6 years. And so they're going to be much, much more adept at whatever it is that they're pursuing in speech and debate. And so I criticized some of his remarks, almost, as if he were a seasoned speaker, because he comes across as a seasoned speaker. He's actually just very gifted. And so I was telling his mom that, and I apologized if I made him feel, sort of too uncomfortable with my criticisms. I probably should have walked it back a little bit. But he got me riled because he's talking about politics, and it's so great. It's so great for us to empower our children to join in the conversation, in the marketplace of ideas. Goodness knows the left is doing it, folks, and they're not educating the kids. They're just giving them rote language to use. Coming up next, we're going to talk about language on my next this isn't a podcast. This is a Accidental Homeschooler video. I do encourage you, please subscribe. That helps me. It helps me grow my brand and stuff like that. If you don't follow me on Twitter, please do. If you don't follow me on Facebook, please do. Parler also. I'm also on Parler. And so I just encourage you, get your voice into the marketplace of ideas like we're doing for these young kids. And the world will be a better place. Thanks so much for watching.